Thank you today for joining America Resurrected. My name's Kevin Alexander. I'm standing here in the mountains of the southern part of the United States of America, the greatest and most beautiful country in the world. You can go from the East Coast to the Midwest to the West Coast, and you can find great places to go, scenery that you can see nowhere else in the world. We do live in the greatest nation in America, and it's because of the Americans. It's not because of our federal government or our state government. It's because of you and I, the Americans, we the people. I think of the founding of America. I go back to the early 1600s, and I think of the group that called themselves the Pilgrims. They wanted a new freedom. They wanted a new land. They wanted religious freedom so bad. They was willing to leave their home. They were willing to leave their assets behind. And in many cases, my friend, they were willing to leave their families behind just to search for freedom. When they jumped on that wooden boat called the Mayflower, they had no idea if that boat was sturdy enough to get them across the Atlantic Ocean. They didn't know if they did land in America, what faced them and what challenges they would have when they get there. But they landed at a place called Plymouth Rock. And before they got off the Mayflower, they knew they had to stick together. So they penned what's called the Mayflower Compact. And the beginning words of the Mayflower Compact says this: "For the glory of God and the advancement of the Christian faith." See, the Pilgrims came, my friend, not just for any faith, not just for any religion. They came for the Christian faith. And we at America Resurrected believe that. We know that. We're not against other religions. We're just for the way the founders founded America. Then they self-taught their children. They didn't send them to public schools. They didn't send them to private schools. They taught them in their homes, and they taught them in the church houses. The Pilgrims tried socialism for the first couple years. Think about this. They tried to feed everybody whether they worked or not. They realized after a couple years that did not work. So they said, if you don't eat, you don't work, you don't eat. And I got news for you, they got that from the Bible. Because the Pilgrims were Christians. If you study the Pilgrims all the way back to when they lived in England, they were Christians. They were Bible-believing Christians. They knew the God of the universe created this world, and they were going to put their faith and trust in Him. And then that led us through the 1700s, through the period called the Great Awakening in the 1730s, and it led us to the Revolutionary War. Then our founding fathers, after we won our independence, as they sit down and tried to pen the Constitution and the Declaration of the Independence. Can you imagine this? Think of this. They're trying to come up with words. They have no guide to work off of. There's no instruction book they're using. They're trying to come up with documents for a new country, word per word. Somebody had to come up with every word. There was many times they didn't know what to write down next. They got on their knees and asked the Holy God, would He guide them? And then as they continued to write, Ben Franklin had a quote that I'll never forget. He said, "Men, we better hang together or we might hang separately." See, the founding fathers gave up everything because they wanted freedom so bad. What are you and I giving up today? We're living off what our founding fathers did, but we're losing our freedoms because the government's getting too big. See, God had blessed America early on, not because of a king, not because of any Supreme Court, not because of any dictator. He blessed America, my friend, because of we, the people of the United States of America. Then we've had our trials and tribulations. God has seen us through the Civil War. He's seen us through the Great Depression. He's seen us through World War I, and He saw us through World War II. And our early politicians, no matter which party they was from, for the most part, they trusted in a holy God. 52 of the 56 signers of the Declaration of Independence were Christians, committed Christians. The other 4 who were less religious or more religious than any politicians we got today. Then, in the mid-1900s, the United States of America made 3 drastic mistakes. 3 drastic mistakes they made. Number 1, in the early 1960s, the government decided to remove the Bible from the public school system. Number 2, they decided to remove prayer from the public school system. And we stop teaching little boys and girls that there is a God in heaven, that He did create the whole world, that He did bless America, that the founding fathers were Christians, whether people want to believe it or not. We stopped teaching little boys and girls that. Now 50 and 60 years later, we're reaping the consequences of that terrible decision. And then in the early 1970s, the United States of America made a horrific decision when they legalized killing small boys and girls and disguising it as abortion. Friend, I'm telling you, the Bible speaks against that. The Bible says all children come to Jesus. America was blessed. The nation you and I are enjoying today, the freedom that we have to look around at this scenery and to travel America freely, our lives not be in jeopardy, is because our founding fathers drew up the Constitution, the Declaration of Independence, using the Bible and using their Christian beliefs. Today we've legalized abortion and killing of babies. We've pulled the Bible from young boys and girls in the public school system, and today we have total chaos in America. We have total chaos. We have more debt. We're $17 trillion in debt. We have little boys and girls going to elementary and middle school and people shooting guns at them. Can you imagine that? My parents' generation 50 and 60 years ago cannot imagine going to an elementary or middle school and having somebody actually shoot a gun at them and try to kill them. We're morally dead in America. We're economically dead in America. And my friend, no political party's gonna get us out of this mess. Oh, I think there may be a party that's a little better than the other one, but right now we're voting on the best of two evils. See, we're stuck watching a ping pong match as the American people. For the last 25 years, we've had a Republican president, a Democrat president, a Republican president, a Democrat president, and now everybody's in an uproar looking maybe for another president. Friend, I'm telling you, the political party is not the answer. The answer is praying that God would give us leaders to come back to America, that we put Him first. I believe with all my heart, the first America that the founding fathers and the Pilgrims dreamed of, I believe it's dead. I believe it's over. We call it America 1.0 at America Resurrected. And there's times you just want to give up hope. You want to throw in the towel and think there's nothing we can do about it. But friend, I got hope for you today. It didn't look good as I read my Bible. And it didn't look good when Noah was building the ark and he thought at times he was crazy. God said, I'm going to flood the earth, but I'll save you, Noah. It didn't look good for Daniel in the lion's den. It didn't look good for Jesus when He went in the tomb. But Jesus was resurrected on that third and glorious day, just like He said He would be. I'm telling you, in America today, as a Christian, and I'm talking to Christians right this second, it doesn't look good for us. It looks like the devil's winning. It looks like the ungodly people in our nation's winning. But there's hope. We call it America 2.0. We call it America Resurrected. Just like Jesus rose from that tomb 3 days after they buried Him, I think with all my heart America can rise again. We can do what our founding fathers wanted us to do. Our founding fathers did their job. They did their part. It's time for you and I to do our part. I pray thinking maybe God would make you and I the founding fathers of today. What if He made you and I the new founding fathers of America 2.0, where we started teaching boys and girls about God again and the things of our faith, and we started being good to our neighbor and treating people like the way we want to be treated? What if we started business dealings where if I tell you I'm going to do something, I actually do it? Wouldn't that be good? What if we had politicians who didn't lie all the time and actually told us the truth? Pray for America Resurrected. Join us at America Resurrected. America can be resurrected one more time. Well, let's go ahead and call it America 2.0, the second version, for your children and grandchildren's sake. Don't you give up. You get your Christian friends to vote with me. In 2012, we had 50 million evangelical Christians did not even vote in the election. Get them to vote next time. Vote biblical principles. Vote your biblical faith principles, and God will once again bless America, and our children and grandchildren will have the same freedom. They will have the same hope of the American dream that our grandparents had. Thank you for joining us today. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.